Hello there. Let's talk about something we all feel every single day, something we think we know so well, hunger. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if it's not an enemy we have to conquer, but actually a guide? Just sit with that question for a second. In our world, a world that pretty much screams at us to satisfy every little craving the moment it pops up, what if those pangs of an empty stomach were trying to tell us something? A kind of wisdom we've forgotten how to listen to. All right, let's really get into this. Our whole relationship with food, with desire itself, it really boils down to how we choose to see things. So is hunger a punishment, something you get for not eating? Or could it be something else, something like a teacher? And that one little shift in perspective, well, it changes everything. When you see hunger as a punishment, your only goal is to make it go away, right? As fast as possible. But if you start to see it as an education, suddenly it becomes an opportunity to practice self-control, to learn a little patience, to build discipline. The physical feeling is exactly the same, but the way you experience it is completely transformed. Now, this isn't some brand new idea. Not at all. In fact, it's a concept that's deeply rooted in ancient spiritual wisdom. And there's one really powerful example of this kind of discipline that shows us what's truly possible. Just take a moment with that image. This wasn't about self-punishment, not in the slightest. This was about mastery. It was a real physical practice to manage and even dignify a state of deep hunger, choosing to endure it with grace instead of just desperately trying to end it. It really shows an incredible level of command over the body's most basic primal urges. And here's what's so fascinating. This ancient practice perfectly illustrates a principle that modern neuroscience is only now really starting to grasp. The wisdom of the past is actually being proven right by the science of today. It all comes down to something called dopamine sensitivity. Think of it like this. When we're constantly giving in to every single craving, our brain's reward system kind of gets, well, worn out. It starts needing a bigger and bigger hit of dopamine just to feel the same level of satisfaction. Allowing ourselves to feel real, actual hunger is like hitting the reset button on that whole system. And the process itself is just beautifully simple. First, you allow yourself to experience genuine hunger. That's it. That simple act gives your dopamine receptors a much-needed break, a chance to reset. And what happens next? The cravings start to quiet down. You get your control back because you're no longer being pushed around by this constant need for that next intense hit. So, where does this leave us? What does it all mean for you and me right now? It's about connecting the dots, really. Taking that ancient wisdom and this modern science and turning it into one powerful principle we can actually use. It's about realizing that the smallest territory we have control over, what we eat, is the training ground for, well, everything else. And that is the heart of it all. The ability to steer our own lives, our goals, our relationships, our spiritual well-being. It all starts in this really humble, really personal place. The discipline you build here, it literally ripples out into every other part of who you are. Let that sink in. It's so simple, but so profound. It's a powerful statement of what you're capable of. Now, I want you to try something with me. Repeat it out loud, or even just quietly to yourself. If I can lead my appetite, I can lead my life. And that brings us to our last thought. If the training ground is your appetite, then what's the real prize? What bigger goal? What part of your character? What spiritual height is waiting for you on the other side of that discipline? What part of your life is just waiting for you to step up and lead it?